woman created this. Black woman created this.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sundays with the Cherry on Top. I am your host, Cherry. It is so good to see you again. I have a very exciting guest for you today, Danielle Pinnock. But before I bring her on, just want to just give you some love and just say that I'm just so happy to see you again. And be sure, like, you know the spiel. You guys have been with me for a while. Be sure to follow me on social media. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter and on Facebook, Sundays with the Cherry on Top. And you can find me on Twitter, Sundays with Cherry, every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the new thing this season is that we're live on all platforms. So we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and now we're live on Twitter. Just trying to see where, what you guys like and give you different options, because sometimes, you want to, in case you want to switch it up, right? But that's the new thing that I've added this season. And it's been a season, right? We're a month in with the Biden administration. And I just want to say that it's been nice, waking up and not having something crazy on the news every 5 seconds about Biden and Harris. Actually, there's some days where, it's kind of boring. And I'm like, oh, I'll take boring. Give me boring. I just want to emotionally rest. Thank you, Lord. Amen. So just want to say that it's, after these 4 years, it's strange to go back to that feeling of just like, oh yeah, they're doing their job, they're doing their thing. There's no crazy things on the news, and just getting acclimated to that again has been interesting. So it was just a thought I popped in my head, and I was like, oh, I'm going to share that with you guys. So you guys know how I like to do each interview with a fun fact about my guests, and so one of the fun facts that I love about Danielle is that, she's a content creator, and she makes people laugh every day. She makes me laugh every day with the videos that she puts up. And one of my favorite videos is that she has this video. When you guys, after this interview, if you guys watch now or watch it later, you make sure you go and follow her and see her work. But she has a Bridgerton video that's really funny. But if you have not seen the show, do not watch those videos, because those videos have spoilers in them. But they're funny. But you might want to watch them anyway, and just act surprised when you watch when you watch a series on Netflix. But her content that she has created is just extremely funny and extremely needed, and gave me a lot of laughter during difficult times with this last administration. So the fun fact about that is that her videos are just really, really great and funny. And another fun fact about her is that here in New York City, we have a very big, loving theater community where we all have met each other either in audition rooms, writer rooms, or just out on the scene, Black Theater Night, or just at plays or at parties. And you get to know the community and you get to know each other. Now, this is a thing I did not know until I talked to her, that two of the actresses in our community that I adore and I love, Patrice Johnson and Heather Alicia Sims, she's related to them. And I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised, because talent runs in the family. So now I see them as some royal theater family, because of the fact that, who knew, right? It's a big, small world. But, you learn something new every day. And we'll talk more about that when we get into the interview. But I just love that, just finding that out. But of course, I wasn't surprised, because she's extremely talented. And these two women, if you have not seen them work, make sure you watch an episode of Pose, Patrice Johnson, or you can watch Heather Alicia Sims, and just Google their names and you'll see what I'm talking about, and look at some of their videos. They're extremely talented. So that's another fun fact I wanted to bring up, because I was just blown away by that. So with that said, I want to welcome my girl Danielle Pinnock, and we're just gonna get started. We're gonna kiki it up. We're gonna be girls.
I'm here for the Kiki.
Hey, honey, Kiki.
Hey, it's so great to be here.
I'm so happy that you were here, and I'm just in awe of you. And so I like to begin each interview with a check-in, right? Because, like I was saying in my intro, there was so much going on the past 4 years. We have a new administration now. We're still in the middle of a damn pandemic that I feel like people are forgetting about, but I'm still wearing my mask, and I'm at the grocery store like 6 feet you two live too close, you know. But how are you feeling right now? I just want to check in before we even get started.
You know, this week in particular has been such a whirlwind for me
Mm-hmm.
because I booked 2 really big jobs, lost them both because found out I was exposed to COVID at a gas station. Literally at a gas station.
Oh man.
So it's kind of like, you know, when people are like, yep, you got a mask, you got to do this. And, you know, Cherry, like I've been in the house. I've been an absolute hermit because there's only 3 people in my bubbles. Me, my husband, my mom.
Mm-hmm.
All my friends, they see me on FaceTime because I know I have to work. I got to keep them safe. My mom has underlying conditions and all those other things. You know what I mean? But like to know that you can touch a pump or whatever the thing is, or go inside and pay, and you don't know. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You are masked, even though you are careful, even though, you know, you're doing all the things that you need to do. And I know for me on my end as an actor, when I found out that I was exposed, I was on my way to the wardrobe fitting. So I called my team immediately and said, look, I just got this text from State of California Board of Health. And I just felt like full disclosure, I need to let y'all know. I think we need to let the production know as well, because they're saying that symptoms could show up 2 to 14 days, even though I've been testing negative all week. You know, I want to keep those other actors safe, and the producers, as well as the directors and the casting people, because it's probably about 200 people that will be on that set, as well as celebrities. So I was like, I don't want to ever have blood on my hands, or you know what I mean, to get that CNN thing where it's like whole commercial said wiped out. The Danielle Pinnock, like,
okay, and everybody side eyeing you, looking at you like that's the girl.
Yeah,
like, I was like, didn't tell nobody.
I don't want that. And like, I just grew up in a household that always says integrity first, even if it hurts. And like, that would have been a lot of money, Cherry. But I also believe that my God is big, and that God is going to provide for me bigger and better and more. And the thing that was so interesting is that the casting director called my team this morning, and they were like, we just want to say thank you for her honesty, because a lot of actors are not being honest right now. They know they have COVID and they're going to test, or, you know, people are forging test results.
Are you serious? That's a new one. That's a new one. But then how does that work? You forge a test, but you still gonna show up and get caught.
Exactly. Like, but you know, this is the thing. It's like, we're in a desperate time right now. And a lot of actors, especially I would say actors that are coming from the stage, people haven't worked. You know what I mean? It's like you get that one, you know, the 2-line co-star, and you're like, I could use this $1,000 right now. I could use this $2,000, and people are struggling with their families. Families are passing on and passing away. You know what I mean? And it's like, we got to pay for funerals. We got to pay for health insurance. The bills haven't stopped because of the coronavirus. The bills are still here. You know, so I understand where that desperation comes from. But the other thing is, like, we just have to do what's right now, because we can't be part of that problem. You know what I mean? Like, we have to save others in this time as well too. And we also have to keep each other accountable. And it's a hard, accountability is hard.
Listen, but the way you are sharing this story, because of your spirit, I don't know how you're doing it, because girl, I would be crying and boohooing like, what? Because it was so fast. Like, you got the job, you're on your way to fitting, and then they're like, oh no, you've been exposed for touching a pump at the damn gas station. And now, girl, I'd be tissue. I'd go through a whole box of tissue.
You know, the tears came. Like, I had a good old Netflix binge last night with my little popcorn and my little brown sugar, and I had my little Netflix shows. I was like, Mary J. Blige. But listen, I was like, it's a new dawn, it's a new day. I was like, today I'm going to take the day after this interview to clean my house and get ready for whatever new blessing is coming this week, because I know it's coming.
Amen. Amen. I love that. So this leads me to my next question. You come from a very artistic family. And like I said in my intro, the fun fact about you is that to discover that you are connected to Patrice Johnson, who I love. That's her Richie K, right? In Benicio Dophia's play. Yeah, that's our girl. And then Heather Alicia Sims, that's her in Fairview. Listen.
So much. Oh my God.
I did not know that. And I loved it. I mean, it makes me love you even more, because I love them. They're amazing artists, actors. I love them. So So you clearly come from an artistic family. So where did the love of the arts come from? Like, were you guys just all playing together on stage and creating your own plays in the backyard? Like, how did this happen?
Listen, so the thing is, most of the people in my family, they've all first of all, we're all Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of when they immigrated, it's like education first. You got to do this. So a lot of members of my family, they all went to Ivy League schools, graduated top of their class. They're in business, they're lawyers, they're physicians. And that was kind of the MO. If you want to make money, that's where you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
So my aunt really broke that mold when she was like, my passion is art. And I remember seeing her when I was younger she was Desdemona. They did like a race reversal version of Othello with Patrick Stewart. And it was that was the first play I ever saw in my life. We all traveled as a family in the same van. Like we were always the whole family trip.
Okay, wait. You know what, the van thing? Let me tell you about the van thing, because that's in my family too. Because my Uncle Willie would drive the kids, and when we were growing up, from Las Vegas to Shreveport. That's where I was born, where my family. But it's always in a van. Like we just get in the van and do family trips.
Get that church van, that Econoline, like literally. So and my mom, she has 12 brothers and sisters.
My father comes from a family of 10.
Ooh. These family trips, like we would travel, and that's the thing I would say about my family is like we're such a supportive family. Like if one person is doing something, like everybody comes out to support. And even in the middle of the pandemic, it's like, oh, we got to get on Zoom. It's a birthday. We got to get on Zoom. You know what I mean? We celebrate everything. Like
I love that.
So like I remember seeing that show, and I remember it was the first time I ever saw it rain on stage, because they have money.
Oh, man.
Raining on stage, and I was like, as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I've never seen anything like this. And that's where my love for Shakespeare started, was that production that she did, and she just kept on doing it. And like seeing her rise in the industry was so inspiring me, that allowed me to go do theater in high school, as well as she was one that got me my first internship with director Cindy Tolan. Like yeah, she was like, Cindy, my niece needs a job. And like she was like, listen, if the white people do it, why can't we? She's like, we got to network and we got to get each other these gigs. Mm-hmm. So she got me my first job like in the industry, because she was like, if you want to be an actor, you have to know how this thing works. It's not just about going and auditioning and doing a good job. Like there's a whole bit of mechanics behind it. So also you can protect your heart and know that it really has nothing to do with you. You just go do your job and that's it. Mm-hmm. So working in casting really helps me a lot, even as an actor, because I was able to build all of these relationships with agents, with other casting directors. So like when it was time for me to graduate school, these agents, they already knew me. So I was like, hey, I was just calling them like, hey, it's Danielle, I just graduated. You need anybody?
That's an actor's dream. Like, yo, you got a part in that new show? Okay, thank you. Okay, Cindy, you hear me, right?
Literally, that's how it was, because there was this guy, they were doing, by the way, Meet Vera Stark at the Good. And I called Adam Belcourt, and I said, look, I just came out of school. I need a job. I was like, because Hurricane Sandy had just hit in the East Coast, and I was like, I need to get some money home to bring home. And he was like, oh, we're doing this show, but you wouldn't be, auditions are tomorrow. And I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. We took a red eye.
Shut up. Yes.
And I had all these miles because I went to school overseas. So I had all these miles like built up. Took the red eye on the miles, stayed with a friend in Chicago, was at the auditions early. And they were like, how did you get here? So they were like, okay, well, Danielle, we're thinking the part is a little older, but would you consider an understudy? I said, I'll consider anything. Well, I took that understudy job at the Goodman just based on the relationships that I had built with casting. I just called them.
Love and that.
I like the protocol, because I was rough around the edges back in the day. But like people just appreciated, like, okay, she's forthright. Great. She's doing what she needs to do. Got that understudy job. And that understudy job is what ultimately got me my agent. So
I love that.
Like it all goes back to that internship. And I that's a testament to my aunt just for, paving the way for me in that way.
I love that because, also too, it's like, you always hear in the business that you only need one or two casting directors in your corner, and you could just work for days and years.
Yeah.
Like just that one casting director is like, where's Danielle? Where's Cherry? Where's so and so? Where's some?
Yeah.
That's all you need, right? And to be able to have that kind of relationship and pick up the phone and be like, Cindy, listen, girl, what you got going on at the desk? What's going on? I love that.
People too, you know what I mean? We give them so much power because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, they're just bringing people in for the producers to see. You know what I mean? But it's like they have a lot of power, but really it's not as much as we think it is. You know what I mean? Ultimately, the production is going to decide who's who and what's going on, you know? So it's like I think a lot of times actors, we put them on such a huge pedestal because it's like, oh my God, they don't call me in, they must hate me. No, they're tired.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're on Zoom all day. You know what I mean? So even for actors, I'm like, I always tell the ones that I coach, I'm like, ask them about their day. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to be a regular person. I feel like so many times we get in there and we're like, okay, I got to do my lines. I got to be take a breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in a global pandemic. These people have been on Zoom calls since 8 o'clock in the morning and you got a 4 p.m. audition. They probably haven't even had lunch. They're at home. Their kids are running around all over the place. They got to do laundry in the middle of their break. Like, it's so much stuff going on with everyone at all times. It's like, just take that breath and just ask them how they are. That will go a longer way, in my opinion, than anything else.
Yeah, it's about building that relationship and not necessarily booking the job. Just book the room. Get see them as a person. Book that room so you can. If this part doesn't work out for you, you can go on to the next part or the part after that. Like, but building that relationship is very important.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I like that. I like that. So, so now we have that with you, with your aunt, guiding you and helping you get into the arts. And when she watches this later, I want to thank you, Patrice, for doing this, because now we have Danielle Pinnock and I get to sit down and have a conversation with her. I love this. So your acting and artistry led you into writing. And so you wrote a one-woman show, and the one-woman show is called Body Courage. Now, so for you, now with Body Courage, it's basically based on your own experiences growing up and being at odds with your body. And so I wanted to ask you, why was it important for you to write this one-woman show? And, at the time that you did, because a lot of the subject matter, a lot of people don't talk about, even to this day. We're still having issues about, our bodies and the shapes, and, and there's a standard of beauty when it comes to certain kind of women in Hollywood. And so for you to write this play, this one-woman show, it didn't seem like it was an easy thing. Like, was it cathartic? Was it therapy for you? Or all those questions, I guess, rolled into one. Like, what prompted you to write this?
No, it's so interesting because the form of theater that I started in, even at Temple University in college, was documentary theater. I was thrown into it. So there was auditions, for the typical school play that you do, whether it's guys and dolls or whatever the thing. So they were doing this show called In Conflict. It was the first time they had done a new work where the students would come and help develop it. It was based off of a book by an author called Yvonne Lottie, who went and did interviews in Afghanistan with soldiers that came back to America from the Iraqi war, and like, what was it like? You know what I mean? Are they dealing with PTSD? Like, how are they with their families now? And all of that, all those kind of really important subject matter. I just wanted an audition. The audition was very interesting though, because they didn't require a monologue. They actually just said, we want you to listen to the audio of the interview, and we want you to kind of like tap into it, whatever that means for you. And I was like, I don't even know. Like, I was 19. I was like, all right.
Like, okay,
cool. And I got cast in that show. And the thing with that play is it really did change my life because it blew up in a way that none of us were really expecting. Like, Anna DeVere Smith came and mentored us. And a producer from the Culture Project saw it, took us out of school for 1.5 years. We then performed at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland. We went off Broadway to Barrow Street. Like, that job changed my life. Wow. So I always want to do documentary theater because it was like such a citizen artistry when the people would come and see the show and see, you know, like see you performing as them and with their words. It was just extremely cathartic. So my love for documentary theater started with that. And I've been doing that since I was 19. So when I got to grad school, they were like, what do you want to do for your dissertation? I said, well, I know I wanted to be documentary theater related, but I've always been a part of ensembles when I do that work. I've never done it by myself, like an Anna Devere Smith or, you know, or Sarah, you know, Sarah Jones or anything.
Yeah.
So I said, for my dissertation, let me try to do it by myself. And the reason I wanted to focus on body image specifically is, I come from a huge Jamaican family, and you know that body image, negative body image, is a generational curse in our family. You know what I mean? And there's so many different struggles and traumas and things that, you know, happen in Jamaica, and how people feel. It's like, oh, I'm too fat, or oh, I'm this, I'm that, and there's a lot of critiquing. And so I wanted to talk about that aspect of it. I also wanted to talk about what it was like kind of growing up plus size, in an all Black community. And then what that moment was like for me to go to an all white private school. Mm-hmm. And I started to see my body in a different way, because now I was the girl with textured hair. And now it's like, oh, should I perm my hair? I look different. Why do I sound different? Oh my gosh, these girls are in Juicy Couture. I can only fit into Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh. You said Burlington Coat Factory. Oh man.
You know what I mean? Or like Conway, yes. So just like all these different things. And then I felt, just as a woman of size, as an actor of size, I wanted to transform on stage. You know, I feel like a lot of times women of size, we get these occupational driven roles. We're the truck driver, we're the maid, we're the slave, we're the sassy receptionist, we're the sassy nurse. And I was like, I want to play everybody. You know what I mean? And I want to bring really unique stories. And it wasn't just about, oh, I need to lose weight. Like, I want to interview a burn survivor. What is that? What is like that living in their body? I invited, I interviewed a woman. She was Muslim. She had her freckles removed because she was ridiculed about her freckles in high school.
Wow.
She's fair skinned. And I was like, I've never heard of that before. You know what I mean? So there were more things about the body that like began to become investigated. Once people started realizing like, oh, this girl's interviewing these people about this stuff, more people came out. Like, there was a Northern Irish priest that had early onset Parkinson's. There was a South Asian man who was fighting to get to the Olympics, but lost by 2 points because he wasn't like at the right weight. Wow. Like, he'd been sacrificing his entire life, his whole body, you know, with medicine and all kinds of stuff. And even like, you know, even stories that were similar to mine, like a little girl on the south side of Chicago who's chubby, but she's not taking no mess from any of her classmates. So there are all these kind of collections of stories and people that I interviewed. I was working on that project after grad school for about 5 years.
Wow.
How people started to learn about me. Because they're like, oh, this Black lady's out here.
But you were doing the work, you know, what, 5 years ago, 2018, 2017, when the conversations weren't even as deep as they are now, right? This conversation, like Body Courage, everybody would be eating that play up again if you were doing it tomorrow, because of the nature of the country where we are in conversation. But you started that journey when no one was really talking about it.
Nobody was talking about it at all. And also, like, it was so cathartic for me when the people would come see the show. And I think I get so emotional about it now, because it's like, when you interview over 300 people, like, some of the people have now passed on. You know what I mean? Some have had COVID, they've passed on, old age. You know what I mean? Like the gentleman that had Parkinson's passed away back in April. You know what I mean? So and like, you know, the young girl from Southside Chicago, she's going to college now. Ooh. You know, so it's
that means you old right now. You know, when you see little kids and they stay young in your head, and then you see them, you're like, wait a minute, what does that mean? I'm getting older? What's going on?
There was a young guy that I interviewed, and we were understudies at the time, and he said he wanted to be a sex symbol. That's all he wanted. This guy, he's from Harvey, Illinois. He's like, he was an actor. And now he's like recurring on Chicago PD. He's doing so many great things. And like, you know, but to see where that sex symbol thing came from, him talking about his sexual history and how he felt about women and all of those different things, like, it was just a beautiful kaleidoscope of community that I was able to talk to, interview, and I had the great honor of bringing their stories to the stage, as well as my own for those 5 years that I worked on it. And that show was the turning point for me to go into television, where casting director was like, oh, I can see her in other things beyond being the sassy nurse. She actually, you know what I mean? She's playing all kinds of things over here. You know what I mean? And like, that show gave me the confidence to audition for TV, because for so long I was like, oh God, I can't do it. I was like, no, because my double chin's going to be out. I was like, my chichos, they're going to get everything. They're going to get all the angles. Camera adds 10 pounds. Like, I was like, I just don't want to be on TV. And my agents were like, look, you've been playing 300 plus characters on stage. What is TV going to do? What is it going to do? And I said, okay, fine. And my second television audition, it was for a Whitney Cummings project for HBO. I was still based in Chicago at the time. And I ended up screen testing for it. I was shocked. And the thing is, I didn't get that job at all. Like, it was the three of us. It was between me, this young woman that had graduated from Columbia, which is Amber Sharday, who is in Judas, the new movie, and also this other young woman who was a YouTube star. And I think that was the moment when I realized, oh, TV is anybody's game. It doesn't matter if you have thousands of years of training or a bunch of theater credits. You can have something go viral and be on TV.
Okay, well, speaking of TV, look where you are now, because you talk about, you know, feeling like, I don't think TV's for me. I can't do TV. And now you're like all over TV, right? Because you play Miss Ingram on the hit show Young Sheldon, right? I want to talk about that. And let me tell you, I love your character on this show because of your relationship with Young Sheldon. And I also want to say, my mom watches every episode of this. She loves your show. She loves Young Sheldon. And so you're gonna have to give a shout out to Mama Cherry pretty soon. But what is it about this character that you love? Because I love the honesty you have and how he gets on your nerves, and how you drink in the teacher's lounge. You know, like, just tell me, what is your favorite thing about playing this character?
Well, first of all, Ian Armitage is the best actor I've ever worked with in my life. He's brilliant in real life. And I don't think a lot of people understand like how genius Ian is for real. He's the most generous co-star I've ever worked with. So sweet. And it's been such an honor watching him grow up. You know what I mean? Like, these are our babies. You know what I mean? It's like, we've been with them for like 4 years now. So it's just like the whole cast, it feels like family on that set. And, you know, to be honest, I do have to thank, I always go back to that movie Hidden Figures, because I remember when that came out and I was like, damn, I would love to play like a scientist or a math person or something, you know. And I feel like a lot of times, even Black women, we're not even, if this was somebody else's show, I probably would have been like, I don't even know, the sassy school nurse. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, or like a parent that came in and was like, my child did that. You know what I mean? And they weren't into that. And Jim Parsons, he had just finished doing Hidden Figures with Octavia Spencer and Taraji and Janelle Monáe. And like, I think it was that show where he's like, yeah, we got to have more people of color in these other positions. So I always say, I don't know if that's the true reason or like that, but I'm always like, I think that's it. That's what I'm going with at least. But it's just, I mean, playing with them for the last 4 years has been amazing. I always say this is my TV acting school, because I never trained for television. I improv and everything else in between, but I was a theater girl. You know, and as theater girls, you know, it's like the camera could be a little too big, and we're like, you know? And you're like, okay, we got to bring it down.
Yeah, pull it back. That's my experience too, because my show, After Forever, is my first real big TV. You know, like learning the camera and stuff, and I was just like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know. I'm a theater girl. I don't know what's going on.
Continuity where? Not a clue. They're like, pick it up. You picked it up with your left hand. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yes. You're like, you know, you do realize a pencil, you picked it up on this line. You got to keep doing that every take. And I'm like, okay. Let me just go back to that.
Because I want to do choices.
I want to do every take different. Like, come on now.
That's exactly right. That's it. I love Young Sheldon. It's been so fun working on that show. My goodness.
Yes, and it shows because your character, the fact that I just love how honest you are. Like when in the trailer that we played, and he's like, Miss Ingram, you're like, what? It's like
He's tired.
He's like, you like this child is wearing me
Wearing
out.
her
Okay.
out. She's in the okay. She got them 80 heels on.
Okay, and you saying what? Like all the black grandmothers, when the black grandmothers, like when the kids are hanging out, and you like grandma or mom, they're like, Lord Jesus, child, if you don't stop calling my name,
call it quit. That's it. That's all she got.
Okay, so let's talk about your next project, Ghosts, and completely different character than Miss Ingram on Young Sheldon, right? So tell us about, because it's not out yet. So tell us about what to expect with Ghost.
Yeah, so Ghost, fingers and toes crossed, it gets picked up because we're still waiting. But honestly, regardless, if it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Like I love the cast of Ghost. So I'm playing Alberta, who is a 1920s Prohibition era ghost. And basically what the premise is there's a new couple that comes into this house that they've inherited, not even realizing that it is haunted by ghosts. And the ghosts are shook. They're like, wait a minute, who are these people? So they do everything in their power to get them out. And it just has a world of possibilities on where it can go episode to episode. And you get the backstories on how each ghost passed away in the house. And the thing that I love about this show so much is that it is so diverse. Everybody from all walks of life, races, sexual orientation, you know what I mean? Like every ethnicity, culture, like it just is a melting pot of comedy, and everybody's just an expert comedian. The improvs, oh my gosh, the outtakes. We had so much fun on that daggone set. It was so funny to see everybody in the costumes. I'm keeping my fingers crossed it gets picked up because I think it would be a really, really dope show.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So for those people who are watching now and will watch this later, it's been taped. It's in the can, and now it's just being presented, and we'll see what happens, right? Just for the people who don't know what we go through, but like fingers and toes crossed. So before I go on to my next question, I want to talk to you about Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, because let me tell you something, okay? You are in a scene with two of the biggest Black women in Hollywood. You got Kerry Washington on one side, you have Viola Davis on another side. And I just want to ask, I've always wanted to ask you this question. How did that feel? Because I don't think I could have gotten my lines out. I would have been like, they would have been like, Cherry, this is like take 56. We're going to replace you if you don't get it together.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you that I was shooketh. Now, how the booking came is that I was with this agency in LA, and I can never forget this. I was this vegan restaurant with my friend. My agent called. She was like, "Oh, they want you to come and audition for Scandal. It's like 3-4 lines, but we think you should pass." I was like, "It's a final season of Scandal." And I've been watching since the beginning.
Okay.
I was like, I don't care if they wanted me to just be in the background. I was like, I am auditioning. And I was like, what you're not going to do is ever call me on no mess like this. Because I was like, it is Carrie, the Queen Washington. Yes. I don't want to hear it. Okay. So okay, well, let's reach out to casting because they like you. And let's just see if they can do offer only. I was like, I just moved to LA. How are they going to be doing offer only when nobody knows me out here and all I got is theater credits? Now, the beauty of it was that Linda Lowy was casting. Now, Linda Lowy, who was married to Jeff Perry, Steppenwolf, theater god, and also Zoe Perry is on Young Sheldon, who's Jeff Perry's daughter. So I'm like starting to link the parts. They offered me the part with no audition.
Ooh.
I was so shaken because the way she was like, we're just going to see that. She was like, 4 lines. You've done it. I was like, what do you mean I've done it? Like, what? Like, I can't mess this up. I was like, I will tape in the vegan restaurant. I'll go right in this bathroom. I was like, whatever you want me to do, I will drive. Like, I will do it. And they're like, no, we can offer it.
Waiter, could you read the size?
Like, can you hold this camera?
Yes,
I got offered it, and then when I got home that night, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be on Scandal." And then Linda Lowy called me. She's like, "Danielle, I'm a huge fan of yours from Sheldon. I'm so excited that we can find something for you in the last season. And just to let you know, nobody knows this. It's a crossover episode. And I was like, okay. But like, I didn't even really know, because, I'm still like, what's crossover mean?
Yes.
Because I'm like brand new to this TV. I was like, okay, yes, crossover, yes. And I'm not even knowing, I was like, is this a technical term? Like, what does that mean? And then she said, yes, so you're not going to be doing Carrie's hair. You'll actually be doing Viola Davis's. And I was like How to Get Away with Murder crossover? Is that what you're telling me? Annalise Keating, another show that I'm obsessed with. I was like, Joe Turner's gonna come and go on Viola Davis. That's what you're saying? Like, I can't even handle it. So I was shaken.
Yeah, I would have been shaken.
Shaken to my utter core. And we had to do a hair tutorial on the weekend because Viola Davis's hair and Kerry Washington's hair is literally from the hair of Gabriel the Angel. So we did a tutorial on how to do it in real life. No, like literally, I've never seen hair like this in my life. I was like, see, this is another level.
Okay.
Y'all are getting strand by strand from Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And I remember walking in, and me and the other hairdresser, we were in the van over to the location running the lines. Knowing it's only 4 lines, we were like, we can't mess this up. I was like, let's run it. We got to do it again. I was like, I know when I get in there, I'm gonna look crazy.
I would be the same way. Oh my God! Like every time you mess, that's not the line, Cherry. Like, oh, okay, sorry. Like
because then they were like, they wanted me to really bump the hair and turn the thing. I was like, okay, now y'all got me doing movements. While I'm trying my best not to fangirl. Like, and the thing that got me is like, I walked into the makeup trailer and Kerry Washington was there, and she's like, hi. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, hello, hi. That's all I could say. I couldn't even get anything out. I couldn't even get any words. And when we got to location, Viola Davis came and shook my hand. She was like, hi, my name is Viola Davis. I was like, sis, on my vision board, okay? Be clear. I was like, Tanya, like literally. I was like, literally, Tanya, August Wilson, like, be clear, honey. Like, Vera, like, this.
yes,
I cannot handle it with this handshake. And Viola Davis, sis, we know. We know. So we got to the scene, and like the thing that I would say was the most amazing part of the scene is that these women, when you look in their scripts, everything is marked up. Like everything, highlights, marked up. I'm thinking on this beat, and they're working together like an ensemble.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, yeah, I love how you did that, Carrie. And I was like, there's really no need for this director because they already got it. And Tony Goldwyn was the director for the episode. And he's like, yeah, y'all just feel it out. It's like, what do you say? And the Oscar goes to like,
I mean, what do you say to them too, right? It's like, just like, he could just sit in his director's chair. Just go ahead.
I was like, I can't even handle it. So I'm literally just like, I was like, I'm in a master class right now. And then they would be like, okay, and we're going to do another one. And I was like, okay, let me get myself together. Because every time they would go in their script, I'm like, okay, what's she writing in there? What's going on? What is she highlighting? Okay, so now I need to get that same highlighter. That's a blue highlighter. Okay, I'm about to get that. Because when I get the blue one, I'm going to get the Oscar. That's how it's going to happen. Okay, I got it. Literally, I was like in awe. And then the thing that was even crazier is that like after we shot, a week later, my friend invited me to a birthday party, and I didn't even know that she was really close with Viola. Viola came to the birthday. She was like, you ain't telling me you were Patrice's niece? And then I was flatlined. She's like, I love Patrice. We know each other from back in New York. Why didn't you say anything? And I was like, because I was just trying to get these lines together, sis. Like, and I'm still shook. Like, they are the epitome of grace, giving back, Black girl magic. That was an experience I will never forget in my life. Truly.
Thank you for sharing that, because I had to ask you that because I was like, I have to ask her, because just seeing you pop up, I'm like, okay.
No, because they were like, do not say anything. I didn't tell anybody. And that was like one of the most watched episodes in Shonda in history. And people were blowing my phone. I'm like, bitch, is that you in the wig? Like, that's me in the shake and go, sis. That is me in that shake and go wig. That's me.
Oh my gosh. Usually, so let me just, I want to let me go on to the next question because I'm just having such a good time. I love it. So you create your own work, which I love. You created your own lane. We've talked about body courage, and we've talked about just how you got into the arts, and now we talked about Viola and Carrie, which I love. Now I want to move on to hashtag booked.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why you created this, and with your friend Lanisa, did I say that right? Lanisa Frederick. Okay. And so being a content creator, being a influencer, right? And now that you're becoming visible in that genre with over 14,000 followers with hashtag book, all of that. Did you see this blowing up? And where did hashtag book, where did the idea of this come from? Because I love it.
Well, I feel like a lot of times our misadventures as Black actresses specifically are kept as secretive as like the Underground Railroad. It's like, sis, they're not gonna have your foundation. Bring your foundation. Don't get played. You know what I mean? Or like, make sure you do your hair beforehand. Bring your wig. You know what I mean? And all those different things. And there was a time when if we even talked about it, we would be crucified.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and now they're blacklisted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How dare you talk about them not having these things that they need for you on set? Don't do it. So for so long, it was just secrets between us. And Lanice and I, we were literally at my apartment having a glass of whiskey. And we were just like, why is it at every commercial audition when we're playing moms, we always wear cardigans? Like, it was just like so simple. And I was like, yo, I have like 25 cardigans in my closet that I would never wear in my life. But I know when I have that like mom audition or like friendly neighbor or, oh, I'm going to Home Depot, I'm busting out that cardigan. We were like, and we're just talking about how like at that time we were not booked. We were hashtag not booked at all. And he said, just moved to LA. I was in between jobs. And it was frustrating because it's like we needed an outlet. And I was like, you know what, let's just film a sketch. And she was like, okay, great. Let's plan it maybe like next week. And I said, well, you're not doing shit. Let's do it now. And my husband came in. He was like, I got the camera. So we just filmed our first sketch and we didn't post it for a while because I was like, I don't know how to edit. Like, how do you do this? So I got on iMovie and tried to figure it out.
That's what I did. I taught myself how to edit on iMovie.
We didn't know how to do nothing because you have to think back in those days before reels and graphic design, we were all just posting our dusty food photos. That was all we were doing. We were like, ooh, pasta today. You know what I mean? Like, that's all that were like grainy selfies. Like, that's all we had, you know? So it's like, that's all I knew about Instagram. I didn't know anything about it, but we posted that and so many people were like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I feel seen. So we just started talking about more sketches of like what it's like auditioning as a trained Black actor when you are going in for that sassy nurse role or the one-liner that's like, or that loud ass girl that's in every audition waiting room that knows everybody. You know what I mean? Which low key is me. You know, like, oh hey girl, oh my God, I haven't seen you. And they always talk about something. I heard your mom passed. Is she all right? Oh my God, girl, I'm praying. And you're like, wait. I'm trying to zone out and focus. And you're talking about whole people's passing and audition.
Oh,
like, stuff is real though. We see the foolishness. It's like those waiting rooms are crazy. So like we would do like what it's like going in for the one Black role in an all-white production, like Handmaid's Tale. We were like going in for the one Black handmaid. So like, that one went viral. There's so many things that have gone viral. Like people like in the industry, celebrities and the journeyman actors alike are like, wow, this is it. Yeah. You know, so it's been amazing to see it, especially in the quarantine. It's provided us such an outlet to, you know, provide joy for everybody, but also for ourselves because it's hard right now, especially like now everything's on Zoom.
Yeah. Okay. Who's Zooming? Who?
Literally blue jeans. Like it's just so much going on now virtually. So we had to, as you know, we had to move with the times.
Yeah.
You know, we were no longer together because we're quarantined from each other. So how do we still create content in the middle of a quarantine? So like it's been so amazing seeing everybody's like joy from it, and like how the page has grown in such a beautiful way, and the press that we've been able to get, and like now we're trying to develop it into a television series.
That'd be nice. That'd be dope. Another fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Like we just finished writing our pilot, and we're about to start pitching it. So like, I think that narrative is needed, because a lot of times when we see these kind of, you know, actor-centered shows, it's from the white perspective. Entourage, you know what I mean? And it's like very male-focused. Even my favorite show with Lisa Kudrow, who I can't even remember. The Comeback.
The Comeback, yeah.
She was a white woman, but that show was phenomenal. But it's like, what about the Black people?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what about us that are going in for those shady 2 lines? Where it's like, fire, it's over there, son. Like, what is that? Who are those people? They have to self-tape at home and layer vases and books and all kinds of things, you know? So that's kind of where our story is going from, is really the behind the scenes of like 2 roommates and what that world is like for both of them as they try to attain stardom, in their opinion, which really is just getting their equity card. That's it.
Well, listen, amen. So I want to show people a little bit about what you're talking about. So I want to show people a little snippet of my favorite video, the John Boyega, and the manifestation of manifesting your man.
Oh, yes. Now, this John Boyega one, this is actually Loy Webb and Maria Simone Henderson. So now, girls, this is a short film that this was not hashtag book related, but that short film we did in the quarantine was hilarious. And Bria Simone Henderson is a phenomenal actor and improviser. I love her. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I want to see.
Today, in Mama Fiji's 30-day manifestation series, we are manifesting the love you deserve. Now, visualize the husband of your dreams. See him clearly. Speak his name aloud.
John
Boyega.
What?
Oh, well, I think that was the echo. Did you say something?
No, I said John Boyega. There was no echo. There was crystal clear.
Since when have you become a John Boyega fan, girl? Choose somebody else.
Are you kidding? I've always loved him. I loved him in This Is Us.
Wow, that was Sterling K. Brown. John Boyega was in Star Wars. I've been a fan, okay, for a long time. So just choose another name, girl. We can get back to the conversation.
That's a man that I'm manifesting. That's my man, Brandy, with the braids, okay? The boy is mine.
Okay, Monica, you need to shoot someone else and pick someone else, okay?
The boy is mine. He's a clown. We were breaking that. I'm watching this thing back like I didn't even do it, because I can watch Bria all day long. She's on The Good Doctor right now, and she is so funny. She's so hilarious. And that short film was mostly improv, which was amazing.
Listen, I love every minute of it. And for those of you guys who are watching now and who will watch this later, please go and watch the full. It's 6 minutes, not too long, 6 minutes and 10 seconds or something. But it is so funny. And the ending, I'm not going to give it away. The ending is so priceless. But listen, I could talk to you all day, right? And usually my interviews, people who've been watching me for a while, these interviews are usually in and out. But depending on the guest, I elongate. And I'm just having such a good time, but we're going to have to inch our way towards the end here. But listen, before we go, I like to ask each of my guests about their cherry pick. And so I want you to talk to me about your cherry pick and why you've chosen this cherry pick for the community to know about. So go ahead and tell me. Well, first of all, I forgot before my producer Bjorn gets mad. I have a little intro video. So let's play the intro video and then we can go into the cherry pick. Okay, there we go. See, I almost forgot. I'm having such a good time. I almost forgot. But anyway, so tell me what your cherry pick is.
So my cherry pick is the content creator, comedian, actor extraordinaire, Edward Maweta. He is the genius behind the page, The Jokes on Eddie. He is like my little brother, and I love him so much. I think he is his mind is just masterful. And I think anybody that needs a laugh now during this time, follow him. I see so many bright things for him in his future. as a writer, as a content creator, as an actor. He was in 1 and 2. I know that we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about that. I didn't realize when you told me who your cherry pick was, and I saw that, I was like, I saw that play, and I was like, I love the play because you don't get to see those images on stage a lot. And then I was just like, I didn't realize he was funny, a comedian too. So I was so glad you picked him as a cherry pick.
Oh, he just is. He's masterful. He really is, and like, I can't wait till the whole world gets to know who Eddie is, because he's just brilliant, truly. So follow the jokes on Eddie. That's my cherry pick, absolutely, by far.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, listen, I mean, I want to ask so many more questions, but we're gonna just, you know what this means? We're just gonna have to do a part 2, right? Yes. It's just like so much to talk about, and just like I said, you've made me laugh over the years, and especially during such a difficult time with this last administration, which we're not going to talk about. But like you said, just having that Black love, that Black joy, that Black creativity is one of the reasons why I started this show. It's like I really wanted to bring light and good conversation and good laughter during such a difficult time. And I want to continue, because it's always up and down, ebbing and flowing. We all go through things in our lives, but you're the perfect example of why I wanted to have a show like this, because these conversations and the laughter and the Black excellence that you bring to the table is what I want everybody to see, and I want to shine a light on. So with that said, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for saying yes when, doing your busy schedule when you didn't have to. So I just wanted to say that, and everybody watching who will watch this later, please, let's give our love to Danielle. Let's say goodbye to her. And let's give her some love, and just look, I'm gonna bring you back, definitely, because especially when Ghost comes out, you got to come back and talk about that. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know normally these are like in and out, 30 minutes, 40, but sometimes you get that guest and they just take you on a ride, and sometimes you have to go with it. And she just drops so many great gems and just so much laughter, like belly laughs, which I feel like we all need. So listen, before we go, I just want to let you know about my next week's guest. Next week, I'm going to have David Crownson on. And for you guys who don't know who he is, he's an actor, writer, and comic book creator. He has created this comic book series called Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. And if you don't know that comic book, if you don't know what that is about, look it up so you can be ready for next week, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about that and why he wanted to create that and put that out into the world, and how he sees Harriet Tubman. And so I thought he would be a perfect guest. So every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, Facebook Live. I have Twitter Live now. And then I have YouTube Live. So you guys have different platforms to pick it up on. And also, too, I just want to say a little thing about a collective that I'm a part of. It's called the Uptown Collective. We will be doing a collective talk back next Tuesday, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be on the Dream Yard Center's website. You can go there to look at it. The Dream Center Harlem, thedreamcenterharlem.org. And you can get more information on the Uptown Collective. And it's basically bringing actors together who have been having a hard time during the pandemic, and just to talk about things, all mind, body, and spirit. And you can go to my social media handles, and you'll see more about it there. But with that said, I just want to say thank you. I see new people making little comments in the comment section, which makes me happy. And every week I'm getting new viewers, and it's growing. And I just want to say thank you so much for this journey. I want to give a shout out to my producer who's behind the scenes that you can't see. Some of you guys know, some of you don't know. My producer, Bjorn. He's been a great help to help me get this vision off the ground. And I can't thank him enough. And my cousin who just made a little comment, shout out to him. So with that said, guys, I just want to say I love you guys. Thank you. And I'll see you next week. That's it. Okay, bye guys.
Dear Diary, my brother's what they call a cockblocker. The Queen called me flawless. I was prepared to have callers lined up, but Lord Berber came. I took a long walk, and he grabbed me, so I mollywopped him. And it was there, dear Diary, I met the Duke.